Hello friends, and welcome back to the podcast. So today we are talking about cyclical living with cycles. This is important because we as women in this Western world are raised in a very rigid, masculine structure. And not that it's a bad thing, like that productivity, that framework, that ability to show up and follow a path and accomplish items gets us through a lot of those first parts of life, specifically as we're in school and that's the expectation. And if you go into university and setting up life and having a career, a lot of that framework is a good basis for getting things done. But as females specifically, and men and women both have feminine energy, so I don't mean to just say just females, but when we've been living in masculine energy, that rigid framework structure for so long, we tend to numb out and put negative thoughts on the feminine flow. The flow, the dance, as I like to call it, of life that brings out this whole new essence of feminine energy. And every human being has the divine feminine energy and the masculine energy. So cyclical living allows us to see, by looking at Mother Nature, by looking outside, that that's how she's showing us to live. Right now we're going into the seasons. So we've got spring into the seasons. We're going to spring season specifically, and it's a time of growth. You can see the daffodils starting to bloom. The crocuses are starting to come up. They've rested all winter long and they're ready to grow. Set the intention for the season of growth and blooming and living out that intention, which is summer. So in spring, we're setting that intention, we're ramping up, energizing ourselves, starting to eat a little more light because it's so warm and lovely outside before we go into summer, which is where we get to live out that goal and that dream. And then as we're going into fall, it's about shedding some of that activity, shedding what didn't work, reflecting on the season of go, go, go. And as we move slowing down and moving into the winter, where we get to restore, hibernate, take that time to just really energize ourselves, rest ourselves, let our bodies relax before going back into the spring. We see this with the moon cycles. So we've got the seasons on an annual basis, the moon cycles on a monthly basis, which is a beautiful thing in relationship specifically to our female hormone cycle, that we set the intentions with the new moon. And then 2 weeks later, with the full moon, we get to celebrate the manifestations that we have created over the last 2 weeks. So we have a monthly cycle there, right? I also like to talk about ebbs and flows a lot, and that's looking at water, the highs and lows of waves, and realizing right there that we are never guaranteed that we'll always be on the high. You can't live on a high. If the wave was constantly on a high, how would that even look? How would that work? It wouldn't, right? So you get to ride up on top of the wave, la, 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 getting things done, and then it crashes down and it comes back up, and you have an opportunity to breathe, to get back up on the wave, realize what was working, what wasn't working, and just have a cycle of the highs, the lows, the go, 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 the rest. And it plays out in so many ways in life. I love this in looking at ancient ways of living, which I'm a big fan of, because Ayurveda specifically, it teaches us this. It teaches us to live with the seasons, to eat with the seasons, to honor our bodies with the seasons. We don't have the same needs in summer, in the hot season, I should say, because I know people are listening from around the world and your seasons may be completely different than mine. But in the hot season, we don't need to treat our bodies the same as we do in the cold season. Or if you live somewhere where it's hot all year round, well, that's a totally different ballgame, which I don't claim to understand. I love having 4 seasons that I can dress for, honoring myself in the 4 seasons of how I get to dress, whether it's warm or cold or the in-between seasons, what crystals I'm using in each of the seasons, whether it's for the high energy or the low energy or needing more warming, supportive elements because it's freezing cold outside, or the opposite. There's so many ways that we can look at the season that we're in, whether that's the season of life. Right now, I'm in the season of life where I am raising very small children, and they take a lot of my energy, and I love it. But it's not the season where I'm out there running the marathons that I used to be running, and I'm very much nestled in at home. This is my hibernation mode of focusing on my family and really nurturing myself in ways that I never have before, because before I've been very much go, go, go. And also because I'm moving into this divine feminine way of living. On a bigger level, we just left, I think it was a year ago, the Piscean age of living, the whole world. We were in the Piscean age for ever and ever and ever, basically, which was more about doing and accomplishing. Now we're in the Aquarian age, which is this divine feminine coming back to more community-minded, more flowing, less rigid. And to me, that lines perfectly well with cyclical living, getting back to honoring yourself through the cycles. Now, where I've seen this really be a problem is like I said, in this masculine world. I have clients that come to me and they just have these expectations for themselves that they will go, 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 that they should always have the same energy level throughout the day, throughout the month, throughout the year. And it upsets them. It's not working. And instead of thinking, how can I pivot? They're thinking that there's something wrong with them, that they should be able to go, 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 and they should just be able to always get out of bed at the crack of dawn and work through the day and go to bed at the same time. And that structure is so masculine and doesn't work for so many of us. So the problem is holding this against yourself. Holding the natural tendencies for our bodies to be in the ebbs and flows, the cyclical living of life, but trying to fit ourselves into a masculine box to be productive and get more done and go through our to-do list. You like my masculine voice I've got going on here? But you know what that leads us to? That leads us to holding ourselves to unrealistic standards, burning out, numbing out. When you just think you need to go, 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 isn't there a point where you're like, you know what? And then you're like, you know what? I'm going to sit on the couch and watch Netflix for 12 hours and I'm going to eat this even though it doesn't even feel good in my body, and I'm going to drink too much of that, and I'm going to over-exercise or under-exercise. Whatever your numbing out mechanism is, suddenly that is like this vicious thing that comes in and is like, you know what? This isn't working. I'm upset with life and I'm going to do this. So then you're burnt out and you're upset with yourself for numbing out because you don't want to live this way anymore because it's so far from being natural. So then you're living in this like self-loathing. You can't get ahead. You're just living with these feelings that don't work. That's where we get to like snap out of it. Snap out of it. That's not how we need to live and feel in this life. You get to choose how you want to feel. Do you want to feel burnt out? Mad at yourself? Like you can never accomplish enough? Do you want to hate your body every month because you can't honor that during a certain time of the month she just needs rest? Our hormones have that time. They just need rest. They want to go into a cave and like lie down and get some essential oils and rub them on your tummy and have a snuggy blanket and read a book. And I know that is not realistic for a lot of us who have kids and jobs, but you can certainly sleep down. I know you can go and get takeout, or you can buy frozen food, or you can pull it out of the freezer that you made the week in advance where you were feeling your energy levels. There are ways that you can design your life to give yourself that break when you need it, to honor yourself when you need it. So what are our solutions here? What is going to help you snap out of that go, go, go and holding yourself to these unfair, unrealistic, masculine ways? I love to observe my body. It needs to really be across more than a month so you can start to see the trends, but realizing that there's certain weeks in the month where you just want to sleep more, where you want to eat more like warming foods, more heavy foods, more protein sometimes, and other weeks where you're like, I could just fly by on a smoothie and some fruit. Maybe not the healthiest, but I love doing that sometimes, especially in the summer. Anyway, but to observe your tendencies, not to judge your tendencies like, oh, this week I'm so hungry. What's wrong with me? I should be eating less. Listen to your body, tap into her. What is she trying to tell you? She's not lying to you. She wants to communicate. She wants you to tune in with nature, with what's going on outside, what the earth's pull is doing. Because the earth, Mother Nature, is such, right? Her energy is so big. She wants to pull you into that, into the moon cycles. We have all of these energetic levels that we can tap into that honor living, dancing, waving the flows of life, that can let you feel at the end of each day like you've honored yourself. Not like you've pushed yourself to meet goals and to be someone that you aren't, but that you've honored yourself, that you've aligned with Mother Nature. How awesome is that? And I know I find more value in that than maybe some people, but aligning with whether it's the water, the waves, or whatever it is for you, the moon cycles, realizing that you just don't have to be go, go, go. I know I keep saying this over and over again, but I feel so strongly about it. So once you've reflected across more than a month, you can start to see those cycles and you can start to schedule out your life. You can start to schedule out your day to start with, knowing that you really are an early bird. So getting up a little bit earlier is your time where you can find that energy. At the end of the day, you really need to be in bed by this time because you are done. Maybe sometimes you need a walk or a nap in the middle of the afternoon because you know that's when you kind of start to go down and you just need a breather. Whether it's a 10-minute like little walk or meditation or just not doing what you were doing, stepping away, like looking at your day and seeing how your energy ebbs and flows. Looking at your month, as you plan out your month, you can see, you know what? I know this week is the week where I usually have less energy, whereas this week is the week where I'm going to have more energy. So what would I like to get done in this month? And where am I going to plug it into? Am I going to plug it into the week where I've got more energy? Or does it make more sense in the week where I'm just kind of not feeling it? I'm going to have lower energy, I can tell. And sometimes that you can't plan out as much, but having your list where you, as you're riding the wave, you're like, you know what? I'm in the mode of energy. Let's do this. Let's accomplish it. And looking and designing your life to honor what you need to do, but also how you're feeling and how you want to feel. And of course, I love tapping into the chakras. So I see this piece too as you're going through each cycle of life, each of them are different. And that's the beautiful thing, is that you're going to show up differently in each season, in each energy level, in each chapter of life, but still making sure that you're honoring yourself, going into yourself and not looking at the outside world to define how you should show up and how you should feel for you. So with the root chakra, and I'm going to these first three chakras, the root, sacral, and solar plexus, because they are really the key ones that link us to the outside world. That's the key between our outer world, inner world relationship. So the root is very much about our physical grounding in the earth, in our bodies, in our upbringing. So with this, being very aware of how your body wants to be honored in the spring, in the summer, in the fall, in the winter, in the full moon time, in the new moon time, whatever, however you want to define it, whatever resonates, but understanding what your body needs, what she's wanting from food, exercise, nourishment, love, is that root chakra. What are your go-tos? You need to be very clear on them, because if you need 8 hours of sleep and you're only giving yourself 5, it's not going to work out so great, right? So getting clear on your base physical needs to ground you. I also love to be grounded in Mother Earth. That is a very key part for my root chakra for me. So in the winter, how am I getting outside? How am I connecting with Mother Earth? Because winter is not my favorite, but I have to get outside because otherwise I go stir crazy and I lose my grounding. I lose my head if I don't ground. So specifically in winter, that is a challenging one for me. In the spring, in the fall, in the summer, no big deal. I'm either in the lake or I'm hiking. I've got my toes in the earth just in the morning, because that is so grounding for me. So connecting with your physical, your root chakra during each season, the highs and the lows, knowing what the non-negotiables are so that you can stay grounded is essential. Then the sacral chakra, second chakra, is about feeling into your feelings. So always knowing how you want to feel and how you do feel. I have so many clients, I ask them how they feel and they stay productive, fine, good, progressing. None of those are actually really feelings, right? So practicing, how am I really feeling right now? I have a little feelings chart around here somewhere. Let me grab it for you. I even have it right here. Look, this is my gigantic version of it. This gigantic feelings chart. Look at all these feelings, and this isn't even all of them. Learning how you feel in any given moment, and then how you want to feel. I have my 5 core desired feelings that I want to feel as I'm going through life, and I design my life so that I can feel that way. So specifically self-honoring. If you want to feel like you're always honoring yourself and coming back to your heart, yourself for decision-making rather than the outside world, self-honoring is such a key one that definitely relates to showing up throughout all of the seasons, the highs, the lows. If you say, I want to feel like I've honored myself today, period, what decisions would you make to make that happen? How would you show up differently if you were deciding to make that happen? You suddenly wouldn't be swaying with the world that's trying to pull you and honor themselves, not yourself. You sure wouldn't be pushing yourself to go, 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 because you'd be stepping into that energy of like, go, go, go is not self-honoring. Go, go, go is to be in the world, to look successful in the world. You get at least 5 minutes here or there to honor yourself. Whether you're working in multiple jobs or whatever it is, it's a mindset of going into your day being, I am self-honoring. And understanding what your other feelings are. For me, I love being adventurous. And sometimes that just means really, I have a insane curiosity. So adventure, whether I'm like out actually adventuring or reading different articles on the internet about learning about new things, that helps me feel adventurous. And I can define it by how I need to define it for me, how it's going to light myself up. So understanding how you feel in any given moment, giving yourself a moment to check in with that, understanding how you want to feel. Because if you don't know how you want to feel, ultimately, you have no North Star. You're just kind of flowing through life. So that sacral chakra is vital. You need to understand how you do feel, how you want to feel, and then how you find your small pleasures, or just your pleasures in general, throughout each season. If you can't find joy in the ebbs and flows, the highs and lows of life, it's easy to fall into victim mode. So knowing what your go-tos are for small pleasures, whether it's cooking a beautiful, creative, colorful meal, whether it is looking at your kids' artwork on the fridge, whether it's going to a bookstore and just perusing the books because you love bookstores so much, like I do. Whatever it is, knowing what your go-tos for pleasure is, small pleasures, it doesn't have to be epic. You're not going to Hawaii every season because you need to. That would be great, but that's not functional, right? Knowing what your pleasures are to keep you focused on the positive, on the gratitude, on the intention setting of you are designing your life. You're not going to let yourself fall into a hole because it's winter and you hate winter. Choosing how you're going to find joy in winter and how you want to feel in winter. And then the final of the base chakras is our solar plexus. And that is our identity with the world, our confidence with the world. How are we relating and showing up as ourselves, not just the labels that we dance as in the world, right? We have a lot of labels that the world likes to put on us and roles that we play in the world, right? Mom, entrepreneur, friend, daughter. Those labels can come with expectations and stories that can be for us, but they can also play into us not loving life and not showing up as our best selves if they feel heavy. So understanding that solar plexus chakra and who we are, which really comes back to those feelings, who we are, what matters to us, how we want to feel in the world, how we want to dance through life, being super clear on all of those physical, feelings, who we are, what matters to us, how we want to radiate in this life, allows us to have that status check through the highs and lows of life, of days, of the months. And I love this because cyclical living, I love it, because it gives you another opportunity to follow that cycle of intention setting, reflection, redesigning, living it out, and then reflecting, as I call it, like the life coaching cycle, this personal growth cycle, so that you are not, we have New Year's, right? Which is great for intention setting and goal setting for the year, but breaking the year down into smaller chunks. The day, the month, the year, whatever makes sense for your life. At the moment for me, it's really the month because that's what I can manage. And like looking ahead at the month, how do I want to feel this month? How am I going to stay grounded? What do I want to accomplish and get done? And as I'm going through that, I can see that intention that I set at the beginning of the month. By the end of the month, I can see what worked and what didn't work. And then going into the next month, I can take those lessons and apply it in a different way, or apply it in a way that works better. I can pivot, right? So being able to plan on a monthly basis, and then even on a seasonal basis, quarterly, doing the same type of thing would allow you to do it in a different way. It would allow you to do it so you can really honor what you need during the warm seasons versus the cold seasons. So I'm throwing a lot at you right now. I'm hoping some of it is resonating and allowing you to think of just planning your life and tapping into yourself in a more organic way, a less masculine way, the divine, feminine, flowy way, right? As I love so much. And in that way of seeing, as you're designing your life, intentionally living, realizing that there is opportunities on a monthly, quarterly, seasonally basis, not just at New Year's, to look at how you are living, how you want to be living, who you are, what matters to you, how you want to show up on a daily basis. And it flows with Mother Nature. She'll be your leader. So really, in conclusion, this cycle that we see in Mother Earth, it's the grand scale, right? Yet in the day-to-day, the month-to-month, we forget to ride the waves. We forget about Mother Nature. We get in the autopilot living, which I'm all about ditching. We're ditching that autopilot living, snapping out of it, connecting with Mother Nature, connecting with our inner beings, our cores, our values, so that we can live life to the fullest. We can feel the full spectrum of feelings. We can step fully into our power of knowing that we are part of the flow. We're part of the dance. And when the dance looks a little funky or isn't making us feel the way that we want to feel, you know what? We're going to change it. We're going to reassess and make sure that it does align with how we want to feel. Yes, there will be seasons of life where we don't feel fabulous, but knowing that sometimes that's what you're riding, and you have those core ways to still feel grounded, to still find your small pleasures here and there, even if it's hard, but finding those small pleasures to allow yourself to light up even just a little bit and to stay true to who you are and what matters to you, is the core of living a vibrant life. It's the core of ditching autopilot living. It's not easy. It takes intention, but it's fun. You get to know yourself. You're the only you that will ever be on this planet, and you get to dance as her. You get to align with her. I'm so excited to hear what you think of this episode, what comes up for you. If you try any of the different planning and aligning with more of the moon cycles or the seasons, please let me know. I'd love to hear what works and what doesn't work. You just deserve to live your best life. Living with the seasons is a beautiful, organic, dancey, flowy way to do that, to step into that divine femme and just be the best version of yourself. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you next time.
I want to invite you to coach with me. Let's ditch the autopilot living to slow down, tune in, reset, and redesign your life to glow from the inside out based on the beautiful being who you are, what matters to you, and how you want to dance through this life. I help you understand your self-sabotaging ways, program thinking, and tendencies to outsource your power, and reshape them to align with the true you for this chapter of your life. To join me in a complimentary coaching session, go to my website, www.gemmaputty.com. Sending all the love, light, and vibrancy. Until next time.